Previously on the Jay and Dan podcast.
You know how it is. You clean up a counter or something and you've got it in your fingers and you eat something. You're like, oh man, that's got Lysol in my mouth. But I guess it's clean.
Again, that's never happened.
I don't know if you guys have ever been hungover and broadcasted.
No.
We got the time of your life.
Okay. Maridonis, he's got some problems.
Hey, Maradona, Wild Water and Wheels, time of your life?
Meanwhile, on the TV side.
Uh-oh. Okay, I gotta go. All right, bye, guys. Goodbye, everyone.
What's going on?
She's having a kid.
Okay, so it's a lot of Dan in this show. I apologize. One is the loneliest. Who the was sitting in this chair?
You're listening to the Jay and Dan podcast, presented by our good friends at Coors Light.
I misspelled it. It says Coors.
Ice
Weren't they a
cold
band?
Coors Light.
Dance.
One more.
Want another one?
Yeah.
Can we turn it up a little? Dance.
Yes. Welcome to the Jay and Dan podcast with no Jay, as he is with a little baby. It's the week of December 3rd, so Tessa Bonhomme's going to join us for the podcast.
Why not?
Yeah, why not, eh?
Eh?
You're hosting the show, the TV show with me tonight.
I am.
You didn't want to come in on a Sunday night because I hosted Sunday all by myself because no one wanted to come in.
I had a shift. I swapped it. I got Lindsay Hamilton to take my shift. Yeah. So I was driving to Buffalo, actually, picking up my boyfriend coming back from a boys' weekend in Miami.
Oh, so he cheaped out and flew into Buffalo.
Correct.
What? So So he saves money, but inconveniences you.
Well, here's the thing. I saved Lindsay's bacon a little while back so she could go to a football game. In turn, she saved my bacon because I had 4 Christmas parties to go to on Saturday. Therefore, Sunday was not very productive.
Okay, but you still had to drive to Buffalo.
I drove to Buffalo. Yeah.
So there and back, how much out of your day? I'm going to 5 hours at least?
He was late,
Oh.
so he landed at 6. Good news, though, I left late as well, so it was perfect timing.
Okay.
Yeah, so I left at around 4, quarter to 4.
Okay.
And
you might want to turn off your
my ringer.
message notes there.
Yeah, Carrie Gendron, she's all up in my grill right now. Yeah, left at 4, got there in about hour 45-ish.
How much did he save on this flight?
So this is what happened. Here's the thing. Okay. He had originally booked his flight on points.
And where was he going again?
Miami.
Miami. Okay.
He had booked his trip on points, right? But he was going to leave Thursday, a day earlier, with 2 of his buddies, one of which is a pilot who was going to be flying that exact flight down to Miami. Pretty sweet. And then just life happens, and a couple of them drop out. The 2 guys that he's supposed to fly there earlier with, and so he's like, I got to change my flight. So then, obviously, you call with points. It's damn near impossible.
Yeah.
So he's like, great. I'm just going to lose out on $200 in taxes and all those points. And I was like, no chance. So he has this thing in the new year in Anaheim. I was like, why don't you just use the points towards that, pay another $200, and then just buy yourself new flights. So have you ever heard of this airline called Swoop?
It does not sound like a quality airline.
It flies out of Hamilton. It is. You definitely save money flying on it. So his buddy bought a ticket
Do
for
they have
$69.
seats?
Yeah, tons of seats. $69. Ed had his own row, his entire whole row. So anyways, he saved money doing that, and he ended up flying back cheap through Buffalo because of the extra cash spent due to.
Well, it sounds like a nightmare.
It was, but he made it, and it's
all
Miami.
of that right there is just makes me not want to travel on points.
Yeah.
I went to Regina this past weekend.
Oh. Similar to Miami, a little different. Regina Beach. Hey, how was it?
It was good. So I went there to host a corporate Christmas party for Brandt Equipment. They make big machinery, billion-dollar company, family-owned, great people. 1,700 people at this Christmas party.
What?
And so I was a surprise guest. So I was there Friday because they wanted to make sure I was there in time. They don't want your flight to be missed because of weather. Mm-hmm. So I went to Earl's, the night before, as you do in Regina.
You do that.
Earls South. And people were asking, well, what are you doing in town? I said, well, it's our vacation. Because I didn't want to get, and they were like, no, you don't. I'm like, yeah, I do. I come here all the time. So people believe that I do vacation in Regina. And I saw a buddy of yours there.
Of mine?
Yeah.
Whom?
Nat Spooner.
Oh, Natalia Ombre. Nat Spooner. Natalie Spooner is probably one of the funniest teammates that I've had. She's up there, top 5 for sure.
That's right. She sent me a tweet. She said, by chance, are you sitting at the Earls in Regina?
Can I pull up her exact text message?
Yes, do it. And eventually she came over. I went over to her table, and then we had some drinks and took a picture and sent it to you. And you're like, yeah, I know. She texted me.
Hey, do you know if Dan O'Toole is in Regina? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Pretty sure I'm sitting across the bar from him, but I don't want to go say hi if it's not him. Haha. And then I get that goofy pic from you.
Mm-hmm. Do you go to Earl's often?
Can't say I go to Earl's. No, I don't.
Okay. Well, get the dry ribs if you go.
Yeah?
Delicious. It's like little burnt pieces of meat.
Oh.
Yummy. And you know what
Don't
you
people
always
get
get when you're in Regina? You get the clam chowder.
The chowder.
Landlocked province. The chowder is always a good option.
Can't go wrong with chowder.
And driving around Regina right now, it's a winter wonderland.
I can imagine.
Because all the trees are white because of the frost. But it's not just frost. So I had the same driver everywhere I went. David, great guy.
Yeah.
And I'd stop him. I'm like, the trees are so beautiful. He's like, yeah, it's the hoarfrost.
The what?
It's called the hoarfrost.
What is that? Come on.
Yes, it is.
Can you spell that?
Whore.
Okay.
Let me pull it up here to make sure.
You're actually Googling it?
Yeah, it's a thing.
Oh.
He's not making it up. Urban Dictionary,
Okay,
hoarfrost. The effects of cold temperatures upon the scantily clad, seen as lacy patterns of ice upon the bare calves, arms, lower back, and upper breast during wintertime in cold climates. The ice resembles the more common hoarfrost. Oh, it's Hoar.
Yeah, okay. So
Frost.
way
Also seen
different.
during the winter. So look at, this is a tree up close. Look at this.
Oh, wow. That is real cool.
Yeah, it's a winter wonderland. So an update on Jay. Baby's good and everything. He's going to be back on the TV show on Sunday night. He'll be back on the podcast next Monday. Baby, mom, sister, not his sister, the baby's sister, Jay, they're all doing great. So they were in the hospital for like not even 2 days, I think.
Honestly, they don't keep. I swear to God, once you pop that thing out, they're like, all right, well, see ya. Grab a snack on your way out. It's like, what? Unless you get a C-section, then you're good for a couple days.
Yeah, so Jay left on, so we taped the podcast Monday. We did the TV show Tuesday night. He left during the first commercial break. Mm-hmm. And we showed you behind the scenes what happened there because I didn't know. I thought I'd missed something. He just all of a sudden, okay, gotta go. Having a kid, you heard it there off the top.
Yeah.
Before we bring in our special guest, okay, this is from a gentleman in Regina. Was watching the. Oh no, that's not it. No, that was I should read that one though.
Okay.
This guy said was watching the raw feed of the Nylander signing news conference. Heard one reporter say to another, "Saw you on Scrum Lurkers last week." And he said, "What an honor." But this person just heard you're funny about the frosty trees in Regina. Would have been an awesome joke, especially in Regina, except that technically it is rime ice, not hoarfrost. Sorry to be a spoiler. Because I said the trees were beautiful because of the frost, and I can't say the full name because that's not allowed on TV.
Yeah.
But it's called rime ice.
Spell the rhyme?
R-I-M-E.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Did you give that an Urban Dictionary Google?
No, I'm sick of that device. Okay, let's bring in our special guest here. Oh, actually, before we bring it in, I wanted to. What were you doing today with your carpets?
I cleaned I rented one of those vacuum clean, carpet clean things.
Yes. So from the grocery store, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And so when you're renting it and taking it home, are you thinking, where has this thing been before?
Yeah, like I rinsed out all the inside of,
Yeah.
because people just leave it gross.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, I don't want this gross back on what I think is my gross. So I'm going to clean their gross first. And to my surprise, not a good one. Like, carpets are really dirty. The water that you dump out after, I
think they've got something in the machine because every time I've used one of those, it's the same. You're like, oh my God, I'm disgusting. All this was in my house. I think they've got a chemical reaction going on inside there where you're thinking, wow, I'm getting all this dirt out.
But like, how often do you actually do that to your carpets? I feel like that is why it's so gross.
Yeah.
To the point where, like, I want to do it again tomorrow. Except the carpets probably won't be clean or dry by then.
No,
that's the only, you can't.
They're not going to be dry for 3 weeks.
Yeah, why?
Because
literally today I was like, I'm just going to pull out my blow dryer and start blow drying this thing. Well, stupid me, so I do the carpet and then I do the upholstery. So you can't even sit down on my couch.
Oh boy, what a mess.
I know.
It's wet dog smell everywhere. That's going to be with you
It's
for a
not
while.
wet dog anymore. That's why I did it. Our dog she's a bulldog. She's beautiful. And she's got a crease in her nose, and it gets like, we call it cheesy, but it gets like stuff in there that we clean out, and it stinks a little bit. So we have to we do it like once a day. Some days we forget. So when you let it go 2 days, she starts like scrubbing her nose on the carpet. And I saw her do it the other day, and I was like, no, that's it. I'm cleaning this carpet.
No more face cheese.
No more nose cheese from Tanky.
Okay, well, good luck with that. Just
Thanks.
crank the heat in it. There's only about 3 layers of carpet in there with the padding and all that. It should be dry.
Should be
in no
fine.
time.
Yeah?
Our special guest going to come in now.
Okay.
TSN radio host. Have you met this guy before?
Yeah, I met him because I was here on time.
Oh, I was always on time.
Oh, were you?
You've never been on the radio with Matt Cos before?
Never. But we met when I first walked in.
Yes. Yeah.
Welcome.
Hey, a couple little quick thoughts.
Okay, good.
Do you ever feel like the shame you feel when you're cleaning the carpets?
Yeah.
And the water is so dark and murky when you're sitting there and vacuuming it, and you just think, is this the lifestyle I live?
Yes.
Where it's so just disgusting.
Yeah.
So that was my first thought. Also, Hoarfrost is my name when I do adult films. So that's my name on my IMDb page.
So now you know.
Yeah.
How much does a carpet cleaner run you these days to rent?
$32.
Okay, but you got to buy the chemicals.
Yeah, so I bought like a $17 thing.
Okay.
So $32, but it's supposed to be for 24 hours. But since it was a Monday for whatever reason, the woman was very excited to tell me that I got it for 48 hours.
Oof.
Wow.
There you go.
I know. So then
But
I was like, well, then I'll rent the upholstery hose too. Might as well get the couches done.
But Mondays would be the busiest because people are cleaning up after the weekend.
This is what I thought.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all.
Telling you, go to the Metro.
Man, it was nothing but excitement in your home when you got the then the upholstery part as well, and just got the place all clean.
I was sweating. I literally texted Ed and I was like, I am full on. I'm not going to the gym today. I am working out right now.
Did you feel good? Like when it was all done and just that's because when you clean your place, that sense of just order has been restored.
Yeah, it felt good, except like I was so gross with the dirt that I was dumping out that it was like, well, I did that. Thank God it's that much less dirty. But then I was like, I'm keeping this thing here until tomorrow because I'm doing this again. I want to see if the water is less dirty. Because if it is still as dirty, I'm reporting to you and I'm telling you that there for sure is stuff in there.
There is. There's something weird going on. I have a carpet cleaning story. I don't know if I've told this on the podcast before. Back in the day when I first got started in broadcasting, I was doing airborne traffic reporting in Vancouver, BC. I lived with my boss at the time and then ended up dating her. Anyway, that's a moot point.
I don't think it is, but continue.
We didn't have much money, and there was a lot of carpet in this condo we were renting, and we didn't have a vacuum cleaner. And this is back before the internet, everything. So this is like late 90s. When did the internet start?
I mean, dial-up, you could get dial-up in 98.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
but
wasn't very good.
No one had a computer or anything.
No one had a computer in 99.
So
Hold on. There was ICQ and stuff by then.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Really?
I don't know what that is either.
ICQ?
No.
No, you got none of that? Okay.
Okay, so we see an ad in like the paper or somewhere for you get some knives if you get a guy to come to your house and give you a demonstration for a vacuum. So I'm like, yeah, we need to vacuum these floors and we need knives.
So win-win.
Yeah, so this guy shows up. straight out of The Simpsons. You know the sales guy in The Simpsons?
Ol Gil?
Yeah.
Ol Gil needs this sale. Come on.
So he's showing how great this is, and he's got this cleaner, and he's like, I got another thing out in the car. I'll go get it. So I tell her, I'm like, watch for him coming back. I'm going to vacuum the entire place while he's out. So I'm doing we vacuum the entire place. He comes back in. Price of the vacuum was like $700.
So hard no.
So I'm like, nah, I don't think so. He's like, oh, jeez.
My wife's going to kill me. Ol Gil needs this sale.
So he goes, can I borrow your phone? So I'm like, sure. So he's talking to someone. He's like, yeah, it's not going well.
Oh, no.
So he says, here, my boss wants to talk to you. So the boss gets on the phone. He's like, yeah, it's Gil. He hasn't made a sale in months. He really needs this one. Do you think you could? I'm like, no. Okay, we'll knock $100 off. So they knocked it down to like $500 for this vacuum.
Oh, it's practically getting it for free.
So I'm like, no, sorry, I can't. So the guy was about to leave. I'm like, where are the knives?
Yeah.
So he had to go to the car and get the knife. The knives were like from the dollar store.
Yeah.
But we got the knives and we got our carpets cleaned.
You're brave because this enraged man, you've asked him to bring you sharp-edged metal objects inside your home.
Yeah. Oh, poor Gil.
I think great plan. You got your carpets cleaned, so good on you.
Yeah.
And a free set of knives. You just potentially ruined that guy's year. That's it. That's the only
But how about that for a hard sell?
Yeah. Guilt.
Paul's his boss.
Using-
I don't know. You talk to him. Yes. ICQ. Do you have the door closed when someone leaves?
What the hell
Oh, so
is
this is like an instant messenger?
Yeah, it was before MSN Messenger, ICQ.
Wow, you were ahead of the time, Tess.
Was I? I think I was just in that time.
Yeah, I'm 43. I was always like, I still have a BlackBerry, and I was the last to get like email back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I was way behind on stuff. So.
Right.
We had email when I was in college in like 96, 97, and we only had one computer at our college at Algonquin, and you'd have to wait to go check your email whenever one. Again, kids these days
like
have
prison.
it so easy.
Too
Okay,
easy.
so Matt is a sommelier now.
Yep.
So he's going to give us some holiday picks for wine that are all within our budget. This is when you aren't drinking Coors Light. When you've had your Coors Lights and you're like, I want something different. That's not Coors Light, because Coors Light not in the wine industry as of yet.
Can I just preface this with something?
Yes.
My father, before dinner, always pours just a little glass of beer, which we all will partake. And it came from his grandmother, who said that you have to have a beer before dinner, before you eat or drink anything, because the bubbles will open up your taste buds.
Ooh, I like that. That's
I
a
don't
good
know
tradition.
if that's a real thing. I think that was just an excuse, but I still roll with it.
Hey, listen, whatever,
Coors Light.
whatever justifies.
It'll open your taste buds.
Right?
Welcome, Coors Light. You got another new slogan.
By the way, it's funny because I'll be called like a wine snob, even though I don't think I am. But then when it comes to beer, I am a big fan of Coors Light. I drink it all the time. And then the beer snob people out there who just drink the craft blah blah blah. They're like, oh, Coors Light. I'm like, wait a minute. You call me a wine snob. Why can't I call you a beer snob? If they look down on it. I'm a big fan of a nice bottle of Bordeaux and then Coors Light. It's a great cottage combination.
My brother Sean, who's been on this podcast before, he only drinks like Molson Canadian Coors Light because it is the cleanest. They filter it 500 times, and then his philosophy is always like, well, those craft breweries, they're making it in a bathtub. It's because they're dirty. That's why they taste different.
Yeah.
It's essentially dirty beer.
They use some of the water from the carpet cleaner and they mix.
That's how the stouts get their dark.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This one will be an IPA.
Yeah. Nutty.
That's exactly what IPAs taste like. Carpet juice.
Ew.
Unless they become a sponsor, then it'd be different.
What would you drink first for $1 million? Bong water or carpet juice cleaner water?
Bong water.
Bong water.
100%.
Bong.
At least you're going to get a little bit of a high, right?
Yeah.
But you'd vomit from both.
But what
Most definitely.
Yeah, but you're getting with the bong water. The carpet water, I mean, you can have a cornucopia of disgusting coming your way. You don't.
Tank's nose cheese, for instance. I don't want that.
God.
Yeah.
I still can't get over the nose cheese from a dog.
I'll send you a picture next time.
Okay, so what are we drinking for the holidays?
Okay, so give me.
And are you going to give us wines that we can actually find?
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because you gave me ones before. I've direct messaged you and I said, here, give me some, and you sent me a bunch, and I can never find them.
Okay, that was because of the particular LCBO you went into.
Can I take a note while you're telling us all this?
I can email them all to you as well.
Okay.
And by the way, Dan, when you eventually come on my wine podcast, I'm going to tell you a story about something that really bad that happened to me when I was interviewing you, and we talked about the fact that none of the wines were in Curtis or wherever the hell it is you live. But all these ones you can get at the LCBO. So
okay, good.
Here is my first recommendation. I've talked about this one in the past. The holidays, you do more celebration, which often leads to, sparkling wine, like your Prosecco's or your Cavas or champagne. Now, champagne's expensive. The average bottle, $75. Most of the Prosecco we get here, a lot of it's not very good. It's very plain.
It's too sweet.
It's too sweet.
Yep.
Exactly. So what if I told you I could get you a sparkling wine that was around $18 to $20 that is made the exact same way that champagne is made?
Sign me up.
Would you be interested in that? Okay, It's called Cremant. Cremant. And it's a sparkling wine made in France, but it's just not made in Champagne. So it's much cheaper because the real estate in Champagne is some of the most expensive real estate in the world. So that just bumps up your cost. So
if you're like a neighborhood over, it's still the same, but you just can't call it champagne.
It's not the same, and I won't get into all the soil reasons why, but like the limestone and chalkiness. But just buy a bottle of Cremant. Okay. You can get it at any LCBO, and it'll be $19, $20, and it'll have a lot more depth and complexity than Cava or Prosecco. It's not going to hit champagne, but it's $50 cheaper, and it's only about $5 more expensive than a lot of the Proseccos out there. So Cremant is the first place.
And we should mention, since this is across Canada, this podcast, so wherever you get your alcohol, we're just using LCBO as a reference here because that's the only place we can get. Actually, no, we can get it in grocery stores now.
You can, but it's a lot more limited in terms of selection. Yeah, if you're listening anywhere else, whatever your Giant, your Lickbo, wherever you go to get your booze, you should be able to find Cremant.
How great is it to be a Canadian now compared to when our parents were, well, they're still Canadians, but when they were our age, you can now get weed from the government. You can get wine from the grocery store.
Yep.
It's crazy times.
It's a great time for sinning. Versus in 1975.
The only thing we need.
There's no sinning if the government sells it to you.
There you go.
That's true. The only thing we need is lower prices.
Yes.
The taxes are pretty high.
My father, when he would come down and visit me in the States, he would buy a round for everyone in the bar and ask for the detailed printed receipt so he could go home and then show his friends, look at all of the booze I bought for this little bit of money.
That's right. So the bottle of sparkling wine you just said is $18 to $20 here in Canada. Yeah. In the States, that'd be $8 to $10. Like in California, like at a Bevmo.
Well, I'm going to push back a little bit. It depends. California wine is certainly much cheaper in the United States than it is in Canada. But there is ones where it's comparable. A lot of Italian wines, especially the stuff that the LCBO brings in, they have deals with certain wineries, so they get to buy more in bulk. But yes, overall, it is still agreed. It is still cheaper on average to buy booze and beer, especially beer in the States than it is in Canada. Ridiculous.
Yes.
So,
okay. So we got a good sparkling wine.
Yeah.
What are we going to next?
Okay, well, we can just go from the lightest to the darkest. We can do it like that. And I can keep a lot of this Canadian content if you want.
I like supporting Canadian businesses.
Okay.
I'm down with that.
This one's a little bit more Ontario focused. I apologize. I'll try to get some BC ones. Actually, I can. For Ontario, try Riesling. And there's Rieslings that are dry, that are super dry. And my favorite is one called Featherstone. And it is in the St. Catharines area. It's called Black Sheep Riesling. And the reason they call it that is they actually use sheep to eat all the plants at the bottom of the vines.
I think are they the eco-friendly winery?
They are eco-friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So about $17, great Riesling, dirt dry, like really dry. And again, Riesling goes well with so many different types of food. So when you're at the holidays, and there can be just, who knows, you can go from a samosa. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay, from a samosa to like Thai food to like turkey, and it will go with all of it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So these are great. So you bring them to holiday parties, you just have them stocked up.
Yeah.
Right now, Christoph, he's writing these down. He's already going to have them at parties.
Yeah.
He's going to bring them next week for the podcast. Okay, good.
Yeah, and then we'll go one other white, Southbrook Winery, which is in Niagara as well. Fantastic Chardonnay. They do really good Chardonnay for close to about $20. If you're in BC, Mission Hill, the Mission Hill Chardonnay is great. BC, I was shocked by how good the level of Chardonnay was, like in the Okanagan, Kelowna area. So, because I want to try to represent the West.
I love
it. Also, Nova Scotia does good sparkling wine. If you can find it, Nova Scotia, yeah, they do. They have the climate for it. They do really good. Sparkling. Moving on to red.
Yes.
I won't get.
Now I'm listening.
Yeah. Well, you got to get on board with the whites. Here's one rule for reds, and maybe I won't give a specific one, but I'll just give you some general ideas because you mentioned it. I mean, people are listening across Canada.
Tess and I have a history with red wine.
Yeah, I was going to share that after he was done.
Okay. Oh, good. I want to hear that.
Yeah, I know you. Okay.
I absolutely do. Okay. You've got to avoid certain areas where it's so expensive, like Bordeaux, Burgundy, and California. Avoid all those areas just because the wine's more expensive. And a lot of times, if someone says, "Hey, I got a good Napa Cabernet Sauvignon for $16.95," there's a good chance there's a lot of chemicals and artificial yeasts and sugar added. Mm-hmm. So I would say avoid that. So you want to go more for value. And one somm I was talking with, she loves Washington State. And Washington State, you can get good cabs, good Merlot, really good Syrah, actually, from there as well. And it'll be less expensive. And it'll just strictly be less expensive because, again, the overhead to produce the wine doesn't cost as much as if you're in Napa or Sonoma.
Now, how about a red that I picked up today, actually, from Prince Edward County, a Pinot?
Yes.
Are they making good Pinots?
Is it Rose Hall Run?
No, it's like Prince Edward.
Prince Edward, yeah.
Gamay or something.
Yeah.
I think the winery's called Prince Edward something.
Great spot. I went out there this past summer, and
yes.
Rose Hall.
Rose Hall's great.
Man, their Pinot.
Yeah. All right.
I bought 2 cases of it.
You should. Oh no! That's the right way to.
It.
No, that's the right way to do it. Well, it's not milk. It's not going to go bad. In fact, the longer you hold it up for a couple of years, it's going to be better. Prince Edward County is fantastic. They are great. Their Pinot Noir and Chardonnays are fantastic. In fact, Stanners, Staners. You can get some good stuff from the early 20s. Both their Pinot Noir
not from the 1920s in the $20 range.
Yeah.
I was going to say, wow.
If you're going to drink wine from the 1920s, you're going to want to drink more sweet stuff from Bordeaux, like Santerre, because it'll still be good. But because of the soil there, they do great Pinot Noir, great Chardonnay. Okay. So go check out that area.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, now how about a big bold red?
Big bold red. Okay. A couple thoughts. First, Mourvedre in an area called Bandol, Bandol.
What country?
Provence. It's in France, southern France, Provence. If you can find any reds from Bandol, the grape's called Mourvedre, much bigger and a lot more. So that's like your good meaty wine. Spain. You can still get good Rioja that's aged like 5-7 years old that is still like $19, $20, and you get a lot of the oak that you can find in Napa Cabernet because they age it with American oak for a lot of parts in Rioja, Spain.
And there's, excuse me, that one bottle you sent me that I could find, and it was the cheapest of the bunch. It's like $8 for the small, $14 or $16 for the big one. Mm-hmm. Where's that one from? That's Spain as well, right?
No. That one.
Yes. That's the one with the circle on the label.
Yeah, it's gonna take me a second to remember the name, but I'll throw out another one. Connoisseur is a large Chilean producer. Conosur. Their Pinot's good, and Viognier, which is a white wine, is also really good. Washington State, great for your reds. You can still get the big reds there. Cahors, Cahors. It's Malbec from southern France. And to me, I enjoy those Malbecs more than Argentina, which is famous, Mendoza, for theirs. But I would suggest try that area. Again, southern France, not as expensive as Bordeaux or Burgundy, so you won't be spending as much money, and it can be a pretty full-bodied red wine.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So you buy all those wine after you've bought 8 cases of Coors Light. So the red wine store, I went to a party at Tessa's once, and hey, had some red wine, and hadn't you just bought that couch?
I had just thank goodness, had my couch Scotch guarded.
Oh, no.
So brand new couch. I was like, I'm going to Scotch guard this thing. It's like beige,
Yeah.
gray beige, light. And then for some reason, I don't even know why I did this, because I throw parties and I have dinner parties all the time.
Great
And
parties.
so then I
always.
bought a whitish carpet to go with it.
Yeah.
And Dan
I was telling some story, and then
talks with his hands, that guy. So,
and then the wine got knocked out of my hand all over.
and then Dutch came over, and it was like bumper cars everywhere. And so literally I woke up in the morning and I was like, what the hell? I look, my
Who had a
white
knife
carpet
fight?
was now red polka dotted. My couch had a massive stain on it. But the best part was my patio had wine all on the windows into my room, all down onto a chair, all down onto the ground. And I was like, okay, this is hilarious. Dutch walked in, and it looked like he had been shot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, are you okay? What happened? And he was like, do you have any stain remover? Oh, I turned around and bumped right into O'Toole, and his wine dumped all on me. I was like, well, I'll give him that. It wasn't his fault. It was Dutch just got a barrel chest.
Yeah, but you've got to be aware. I'm blaming Dan. I'm blaming you on this.
oh yeah,
Like,
1,000% my
yeah,
fault.
yeah. Like you've got to be.
here's the other-
spatial awareness.
The other thing was I had a couple nice bottles of wine, and I was like, here, open these. And we had gone through probably a couple. And then I turned around, and Dan's laughing, looking at me, and he's opening one of my nice bottles of wine. And I'm like, well, you're pouring me a glass of that first.
Yeah.
Secondly, if you spill any of this, I will be very upset with you.
Do you remember what it was?
It was a wine that was gifted to me. It might have been a cake bread.
Yep. Okay, so that's at least $95
Oh wow.
minimum.
So Dan owes me $95.
Minimum. Could have been more. Could have
Here's
been
the
up-
thing.
Do you want to know the best part, though?
What's
is
that?
the wine couldn't get out of, it didn't soak up off of my Scotchgard the way it was supposed to. So I called the company. I'm like, whoever did my couches didn't do a great job, and I paid for it. So send someone back. And they're like, we will. In the interim, have you sprayed anything on it? I'm like, I literally just tried to dab it up. I have no idea. I don't think this is coming out. She's like, okay, well, we're going to ship you something overnight. You'll get it tomorrow. It's an industrial stain remover. I'm like, sweet. So I just left my carpet as is. You spray that stuff on, you walk away, you come back 20 minutes later, and it is gone.
What?
So I cleaned my car. I got it for free. So now I have this wicked awesome stain remover.
I could use that, especially for my clothes,
Yeah.
because my dry cleaner, I'll walk in, and my dry cleaner will say, oh, more red wine stains? I'm like, hey, don't you judge me.
Yeah.
How dare you? And then I'm like, yeah, I got a wine stain here and here, yeah, and here.
There's, if you go to, what is it, Bed Bath & Beyond?
We don't have those here, do we?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Huh,
yeah.
I don't live near one.
No, you don't.
You don't live near anything.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
At the checkout, they have this like little bottle. It's like this big, and it says it's like this removes any stain. I think is what it's called. It's something crazy. It's an old lady
What
on
an
the front.
arrogant label.
And it does. I was like, yeah, right. I bought it just to see.
Yeah.
I had mascara on a pillowcase that I could not get off of it for the life of me. So
I hate
put
when
a
that
little bit
happens.
of this stuff. I know.
Here's the thing with a red wine stain. So, no matter what point of the evening, if you've got red wine on your shirt, it looks like you're 8 bottles deep.
Yeah.
This happened. So, I was at Grey Cup last weekend. I arrived at a party. This is at like 4 or 5 in the afternoon. I had just left lunch, had no booze in my system. I get a glass of wine, turn around, someone, boom, it's all over my shirt at the start of the evening.
You're a drunk guy.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, so I had to go get my jacket and keep my jacket closed the rest of the evening. Yeah, I know.
What sweaty.
It is, yeah, that is an indicator. But also, it's the Grey Cup party. Everyone's probably drunk by 5
Oh, I
p.m.
know.
I was
anyway.
gonna say wheel into Ryderville and you will fit right in.
Oh yeah, it's again.
They know how to get it done.
Have you been to a Grey Cup week like in Western Canada? As we discussed last week, greatest party every year in Canada,
So much fun.
and it's in Calgary next year.
I did it in Calgary back in, when was that? 05, 06? No, 07, 08? 08?
09, 10.
09.
We can just-
It was 08. I definitely lived there. I lived there 07, 08, 08, 09.
I've done it in Toronto. And let me tell
Yeah.
you, the one thing that Torontonians love to do, celebrate the CFL. I got to tell you, they are all over it.
Yeah.
They're still talking about Cassius Vaughn's 109-yard fumble return touchdown against the Stampeders.
Tess, do you have to run?
I do in like
Okay.
2 minutes.
Well, you can run now because we're going to run through viewer emails
Okay.
or listener emails. we appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
This has been awesome. You were a great fill-in, and I
Been a
can't wait to do
slice.
the show. We've never hosted a TV show together, have we?
Never. I've never worked with you.
All right.
I can't wait to see what the chemistry is like with the two of you on there.
We're
It's
definitely
gonna be
going to start with 2 big old glasses of red wine. That's for damn sure.
You'd be like Hoda and Kathy Lee when they do in the morning.
Are they allowed? I've always asked wondered that question. Are they allowed to drink booze on air?
I don't know, but I wonder the same thing.
Actually, they are. Ellen DeGeneres drank booze with P. Diddy when he had his vodka label thing, and he was like, "You're getting me drunk," and she was like, "I know."
Really?
Yeah.
You guys should totally do that. I'm sure.
See, I
Yeah,
like my
produce it.
job.
Yeah.
I want to keep.
And
my
then Tim
job.
Hortons wouldn't be happy.
There's that.
Yeah.
And you got to drive. Well, you'd have to get Uber because then you got to drive home.
Yeah.
We've got a fridge full of Coors Lights over there, so when you get to the office,
Might grease up before the show.
crack one open. Tessa Bonhomme, everybody.
Love you guys. Thanks for having me.
Do we have applause that we can play her out with?
Never surprise the board op with a suggestion that you haven't talked about ahead of time. He hates you right now.
No.
All right.
Stop is
I got to go get my face painted.
okay.
I
You
won't
have fun
ask for
with
the
that.
same eyeshadow as you, Dan. Don't worry. Thanks, guys.
Bye, Tessa.
See ya.
Danny, you in there?
Hey, bud, what's happening?
Not much, you. So we're going to start a new segment this week in which we are going to. Oh, Danny, we can hear you.
There we go.
In which Danny's going to, because we get a lot of listener feedback each week from the podcast, and we never really bring them up except the odd time. So Danny's going to give us some viewer feedback from last week's podcast, and I believe most of it was about Wild Water and Wheels.
Yes. So
So this is the theme park in my hometown that is called Wild Water and Wheels. Do we have that theme again, Stuff? Because it's a go-kart track, a little roller coaster that you are pushed on. So it's not mechanical. And then there are bumper boat cars and mini golf. So here is the theme song that we played last week. So my one buddy texts me, he goes, my brothers used to work there. So it's still open. He said, yeah, so it's still open. That was what the theme he wanted to get across to me.
The production value of that song, it feels like the same people that put together the Super Bowl Shuffle then went to do that theme.
But that is a catchy tune.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the feedback we got, Danny?
okay, so we had a lot of feedback, a lot of little stuff. People talking about how they only went on the cards, different memories. But there was maybe the longest Instagram comment I've ever seen on our page from Alex Haysted, who used to work there. So I'm just going to read this.
Okay.
Worked here for 4 years through high school. Hands down the best job for a 14 to 7-year-old kid.
14 to 17-year-old.
Yes.
Okay.
The water slides gave you bruises from lack of water. The carts, other than number 1 and number 10, go as fast as a light jog. Highlights in my tenure. Someone lit the bumper boat pool on fire by throwing a cigarette into the water. So infused with gas that leaked from the boats, the entire surface lit up. The roller coaster, while some rides give the illusion of danger, the Pipeline Express is a genuine risk. Held in by a makeshift welded seatbelt, the gravity-powered coaster would slow down on cold days and on one or more occasion cause pileups and neck injuries.
Oh, my God. Yeah, so we saw a video of this. Someone at the top of the hill pushes you.
Yeah.
You're like on a sled.
Okay.
The Mini-Pud is a graveyard of what it once was. I assume in the 80s when it opened and the last of any renovations or improvements where it looked fine. But the animal statues, set up in very, very erotic poses, are now stripped of paint. If the scenery isn't upsetting enough, I could talk about the conditions of the actual greens. Last and best of all, the carpet slide. Hand-cut shag carpets torn up from what I assume was a smoked trailer is handed to kids who have no idea what they've gotten into. On a hot summer day, you can safely go down at a decent speed and almost enjoy yourself. However, if it had rained the previous night or morning, you're in for a treat. The boys would watch as the patrons would fly down the slides, almost clearing the jumps and switching lanes in midair.
Oh my God!
The best part of every morning. And then he says, I have 100 stories of this magical place, but one thing is absolutely certain. I had the time of my life at Wild Water and Wheels.
We got the time of your life at Wild Water and Wheels. Come on out, get the excitement, see how good it feels.
I love that.
Are you going to take your kids? Get them on the fiery bumper boat?
No, probably not. So, any other feedback? Anything else people wanted to discuss?
That was the big one. We
That
also
was the big
got
one.
we also got a lot of positive feedback from Jay and Dan Dart Pals.
Oh, right.
They love the shout out, and they're hoping for Jay and Dan Dart Pals merchandise in the future.
So this is, remember way back when Jay and I were like, hey, you're having a dart there, bud? So he wanted to shout out to all the dart pals out there. Guys just hauling on darts.
Just smoking.
Yeah.
What would your, if you're going to do merch, what would a Dan O'Toole themed merchandise? What would you like to see?
We have it at jayanddan.com or .ca. We had, you know, the shirts from Ironhead. They're a Canadian T-shirt company.
Yeah.
They said, hey, do you want us to make T-shirts? And I'm like, yeah. So it's just like nice lettering. It's classy.
I think like a beer koozie.
And why is it not called a beer cozy?
It's a good question. I have no idea.
What the is a koozie?
I forgot you could swear on this.
Yes. I've always wanted to say it should be a cozy.
You know what? I think you're brave enough to take that stance that other people won't go to.
And here's the problem with a beer koozie. You use it once and then you're not bringing it with you anywhere.
Why not?
Have you ever brought one to a party?
Good God, no.
Yeah, so there you go. Case over. So Jay, is at home with a baby. He's now got 2. He was, we didn't know when he'd be back. So far, we've had fill-in hosts. Jennifer Hedger. I've worked with her before. She's the only one so far that I've worked with on the TV show that I'd worked with previously because Lindsay Hamilton.
She's new.
She was hired when I was gone. Tessa, she was hired when we were in L.A. James Duthie, he's on Tuesday night. He was hired when we were in L.A. Oh, yeah, he was here before.
Yeah, he was there a little bit before. That was crazy, by the way, that video of Dan just going, oh, all right, I'm out of here.
That's Jay. I'm Dan.
Oh, yeah, sorry. When I don't know why I said that. When Jay did that, what was that like in the control room? What was that like just that moment? Because, I mean, how much had to change on the fly?
Oh, I just had to do all the stuff he was supposed to do. We were done the heavy lifting. The first 20 minutes of the show before you get to the first commercial break, that's where most of the highlights and that's where you're on camera doing your stuff.
Right.
All that was out of the way.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was fine. And it's not like it was our first TV show.
Yeah.
So,
but it's the first time that your co-host just walked up and left. That was the first time.
So the reason I love that it happened while we were at work on TV is he's always going to have that. He'll be able to show the little guy, hey, look at this. I was at work. I was racing to see your birth.
You know, though, what's going to happen when that kid is like 12? It's like, Dad, I am so tired of that story. You know, it's like, you can't stop showing that to my friends and whatever version of YouTube exists, you know, in 2030. He's going to be sick and tired of Papa Onright telling that story.
But it's a memory. Anything else? Oh, we had the news to get to, didn't we? Stuff.
This is Jay and Dan Podcast News.
Podcast news we shall have. How are you gentlemen tonight?
Doing great, Staff. How about you?
I am doing terrific.
How happy were you when Dan said, do we have any applause we can do right now?
I was ecstatic.
Did we ever get any applause there?
No.
Well, I do have applause on this computer here, but it's locked because of some technical difficulties.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'll put them in post, perhaps. We'll pretend we saw her off with some applause.
Okay.
I got a couple of clips for you guys here. Some fun and exciting stuff. Liverpool coach Jurgen Klopp was speaking of French media via translator earlier this week. I'm not sure if you guys heard this.
I did not hear this.
But he did take exception somewhat to that person's voice.
It's a very erotic voice, by the way, the translator. Congratulations. Wow. Again, please.
So
Jurgen Klopp.
Enjoy that.
Jurgen Klopp is a fascinating individual. Mm-hmm. He's got rage, a lot of rage inside him, but a lot of joy as well.
Couple thoughts. Yeah. First one, is erotic one of those words that just makes you feel a little queasy? The way like words like moist.
I was going to say moist.
Yeah, like just or panty. Like these are words that are creepy, especially when men say them.
Oh God, when you just said that, oh my God, you gave me the chills.
I'm so sorry. And I think erotic kind of feels like it's sort of in that category.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just if you're a man, don't say those three, especially the P word.
Yeah.
That you just said. I'm not even going to say it.
And even worse, do a combination of those three words in succession, and it sounds pretty creepy. So yeah. And the other one is, I feel that's more of a European thing. If a coach, said that about a reporter, that your voice sounds erotic.
You can't say that.
I feel that here it would not be met with mirth and, oh, look at old Klopper, just being Klopp.
So, speaking of which, I did happen to find the reporter's voice. Would you guys like to
Oh,
hear that?
yes, we would.
So it's a very important game tomorrow. How are you going to play against Paris tomorrow?
Ooh, the Paris, they do it there.
Okay, so I was expecting a woman.
Yeah.
But
good. Okay, this
How are you going to play against Paris tomorrow?
Oh, I got to tell you right now, I'm blushing a little bit. That voice is pretty sultry. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm getting tingly. That is an erotic
How are you going
voice.
to play against Paris tomorrow?
Oh, thanks for
It's a
asking.
very erotic voice, by the way.
It's because he's got breathiness to it.
Now, do you think if he said panty, it would sound better?
Yeah.
I think
How are you going to play against Paris tomorrow?
Oh, thank you. Don't mind if I do. Would you like a drink? Where's the dimmer switch? Let me just get this a little more romantic.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That's an erotic voice.
Yeah, that was.
I wish I had that voice.
Anything else, Stoff?
Yeah, sure. We got this Josh Donaldson sound here, where he earlier in the week he was talking to a scrum of reporters and addressed their concerns about playing in the National League.
No, I mean, go check my numbers against the National League. I think you'll be just fine with that.
You haven't changed a bit.
Yeah, well, that's just what it is.
So there he displays that awesome laugh. So I figured
You haven't changed it.
we could compare it to a couple other ones, such as the Kawhi
That's still the best.
and the Jay and Dan podcast favorite, Jason Spezza.
Can we rank them?
I think we should.
Power ranking, let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, wait a minute. In sports, do a ranking?
Just those three right now.
It's crazy enough to work. Okay.
I'm going to go Spetz because Spetz just on the all-time list. He's been there. He's survived this long. So I'm putting him number 1, Kawhi number 2, Donaldson number 3 on that list.
Mine's a little bit different. And if we have the Kawhi one ready, I'd like to play with this. But to me, third would be Donaldson. Number 2 for me would be Spezza. Number 1 would be Kawhi, because I could feel Kawhi. He sounds like a James Bond villain. Like, I'm going to feed you to the shark. It's like, no, Mr. Bond, I plan on destroying all of Argentina. So to me, I got to put Kawhi's laugh. That to me is going to be number 1.
I just saw a commercial for a Whopper. Man, whenever I see a Whopper commercial, I want one.
Yeah.
And it's a good burger.
Yeah, of course. You want to enrage people? When you go into a workplace for lunch and everyone's got their salads from the night before and you come in with like a Whopper or any sort of fast food, everyone immediately wants it. They're angry at you, but the worst part is the passive-aggressive bull they do. When they look at you and go, oh, a Whopper. I haven't had fast food in years. Like, shut up. Because you know you want it. You're just trying to prove how much better you are than me.
Yeah. Delicious. Although Burger King's hard to find.
It's true. You're right. I mean, McDonald's everywhere, Subway everywhere. But you're right. Burger King, when you drive past one, you're like, oh, look, a Burger King. Oh, there you are. There you go.
Burger King, they're still open.
Bad slogan. They got to work on that.
Town of Bradford, West Gwillimbury, getting a Burger King later this month. So
is that the top news for West Gwillimbury for 2018?
It's all the news for West Gwillimbury for 2018.
Is it going to have a play area?
Those aren't things I inquire about.
Will they be embracing?
I don't think they'll have one for people my age.
What would a play area look like for people your age, Christoph?
I don't think Burger King can afford it, publicity-wise.
As long as they embrace the Carrot Festival, then that Burger King will survive.
What is the Carrot Festival?
What?
Whoa.
Wait a minute. How long have you guys been working together?
Bradford's Pride and Joy is the Carrot Festival.
Christoph yammers about this all the time on the morning show.
When is the Carrot Festival?
It's in the summer. How did you not know that?
It's a weekend in August. They rotate weekends. They close down Main Street. I know you look puzzled, so I'll explain it to you. Main Street and Simcoe Street get closed down. A bunch of people come out and sell different items. And
all carrot related?
None of them are actually carrot related. The only carrots are the ones they give away in bags at the center of this whole thing.
They give them away. You don't have to buy them.
There's bags of carrots for everybody.
Okay. I'm going to the Carrot Festival next year. But you've got to come to the Orono Fair.
Deal.
All right.
What's the Orono Fair?
It's the fair in my little town.
Oh, yeah? What goes on there?
Yeah, it's a fair.
Okay.
They got a big country concert on the Friday night. There's tractor pulls. There's the smash-up derby races. It's a good country fair.
You and Jay live in very different places in the world.
Yes. And we've had this discussion. Who could live in the other person's neighborhood? I'm the one who could because I'm a chameleon. I can adapt to anywhere. Jay would go nuts.
He would absolutely go nuts. I met him when he came on my wine podcast, and he just had to walk to the bar that we went to for lunch, which was a wonderful place for day drinking. I'm not going to lie to you, but yeah, you guys very different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. I like the solitude, but I also like going into the city and having a nice.
As you said, you're a chameleon. You're. How long does it take for you to get home?
From here, 35 minutes.
And that's with no traffic.
There's never traffic when I come to work.
Yeah, that's true.
I come to work at night. Well, we thank you, Matt Cause, for coming in, and you keep mentioning this podcast. You should tell people where to find it and what it's called.
I feel like even when I was mentioned, like I don't want to be that guy because I'm on your podcast. I love the Jay and Dan
but that's
podcast.
why we have people on so they can
okay, but
get people to their podcast.
Well, this one's a very easy name to remember. It's called the Matt Talks Wine and Stuff with Interesting People podcast. It's purposely that long and clunky because I want people to realize it's not some highfalutin, snobby wine talk.
Mm-hmm.
Not that from time to time things can get technical.
It's going to be, is it a lot like when you were describing the wines here?
Yeah, exactly. And, it's with somms, winemakers, but also just people who really like wine. Like I had Jay on, and we're going to have you on at some point. And, it's just a fun way. I'm trying to make wine more approachable and less intimidating.
You did a great job, and I want people to message us on Instagram or on Twitter if they try the wines that you said.
Yeah.
And give us your feedback because we've never done something like this, so I want to know if people actually took advantage of it. Because I don't know if our listeners are all over the map. But I discussed this before. I went to a 30-something party about a month ago, and I was the only one drinking red wine.
Oh, really?
Yes, and there was no wine opener. Although the host of that party sent me a picture today. She now has a wine opener in her house.
But as a 30-year-old shouldn't, that's like the teenage party.
But it was all beer. It was all like Coors Lights or mixed drinks, like vodkas, ryes, whiskeys. No wine. I was the only one drinking red wine.
I'd be miserable. Thankfully, I always, like in movies, the cop who's got the side holster at their boot with a gun. I have that, but it's just with a corkscrew.
That's how I travel because some hotels don't have them.
Yeah, I got to tell you though, at security when you're going through, when you get wanded at the airport. They don't like it when you have a corkscrew.
No,
yeah,
it's very odd. I'm sure they have strange looks whenever you go through security, no matter what you have on you.
I'm a pretty innocent looking guy. 5-0. Whatever. I'm the guy that can go into any condo and security's like, yeah, just go. Yeah,
you just blend in.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Like if I go in with an LCBO with a bottle of wine, they're like, yeah, your threat level is basically zero. Just go in. Thanks.
That's a good calling card. Yeah, they let me in anywhere.
Pretty much.
Okay, so yeah, let us know if you try those wines. Jay will be back next week. Send him messages. Congrats. He's been posting pictures of him and his baby on Instagram, and I don't know if he's been tweeting it or not, but you can stay up to date there. Thanks for being with us on this special wine edition podcast with special guests Matt Cause and Tessa Bonhomme, and we'll see you next week.